And not the center.
I am not the Santa.
I am not the center.
I'm definitely not Santa.
And hi, I'm the Santa. Hi, guys.
Hey, welcome
Quick
back.
Christmas song for people watching.
We wish you
Merry
a Merry Christmas. Wish you
A Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
With you.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Beautiful. Hello, my people. Welcome on Talk with Sassy. If you're new here, welcome. Are you returning? Welcome back, guys. I want to express my deepest gratitude to you all for sticking with us, for your comments, for your subscriptions. Thank you so much. It has really helped us so far to reach countless others. For those of you that are here for the first time, thank you for being here. Welcome. And for those of you that are returning, welcome back. I see you. Thank you. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon so you'll be the first to be notified whenever we upload a new video. I would like to express my profound gratitude to all the incredible, inspiring, impactful leaders that has been on the podcast so far. Ah, my goodness, you guys are fabulous. You guys are incredible and amazing. Thank you so much for your insights, knowledge, wisdom, and experiences shared on every segment. I truly appreciate you all. Thank you so much. You all have enriched me with a lot of knowledge that has helped me profoundly in my healing journey as well. It has helped me in my mental growth, personal growth, and spiritual growth. Thank you so much. On today's segment, surviving trauma and the healing journey, we have four special guests in the building. You all, I'm so thrilled and honored. I'm really happy and excited to have them here with us. We have the ultimate entertainer in the building. He is a DJ, a comedian, a dancer, and a game show host. We have the multi-talented artist. He is a music producer, a songwriter, and a singer. We have the life-changing coach with us. He is a mental health advocate. He is a relationship coach and a life coach. We have the beautiful healer in the house. She has mastered the healing journey from reiki. She is a poet. She is a fine arts creator. Today, I introduce to you Grant Jones, Beat Weezy, Kendrick Coast, and Puya Tanaja.
That's what's up. Hey, come talk with us. I say TW. That's what's up. Yeah, come talk with us. I say TW.
Okay, guys, I'm going to start by asking you all to introduce yourself briefly, and then we jump into today's topic. Today's topic is about surviving trauma. It has been an amazing year so far, but I believe most of us has been through a lot of traumatic events. Some of us we don't know that we are traumatized, but it is something that happens, and we all need healing. And for me, I have been in a traumatic state of my life, and the healing journey has been it has been difficult, it has been hard, but I am happy that I am working on this part of healing, and I believe we are all doing the same. And this community, it means so much to me, and I really appreciate you all for being here and gracing this podcast with your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you around and having us all together here tonight. It's awesome.
Thank you. For those that are seeing you for the first time, Bit Wheezy, can you briefly tell us about yourself, what you do, and how you got started?
Oh, Big Weezy, singer, songwriter, and a sound engineer with over 20 years of industry experience and still counting.
Beautiful. Grant Jones, the ultimate entertainer. Can you please give us a brief story about you and how you started?
Yes, sir. Grant Jones here. Go by the Ultimate Entertainer a lot. I'm a DJ. I'm a comedian. I'm a host for corporate events as well too. I do a little stand up here and there. So whatever you need me to do, I got you. So just love and really shining that light and helping other people shine that light. That's what I'm all about.
Beautiful, beautiful. The amazing Kendrick. Give us a brief story
Yes.
about you and what you do.
First off, thank you for having me again.
Thank you.
My path to where I'm at now was not a linear one. It started off in the coaching sports performance field. I spent about 10 years in that field and a little bit of corporate world as well. And over the years, I just saw so many people that were struggling with relationships, depression, anxiety, and I felt myself being passionate about having those type of discussions and helping people. And so my role now, I'm currently in the process of becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist. And the population that I'm wanting to work with are families, athletes, and people of color.
Beautiful, beautiful. And your constant work on Instagram, I follow them all, and I must say you were truly inspiring. Thank you so much, Nija. Hi, Priyatanaja. Please give us a brief story about yourself, what you do, and how you got started.
Sure. So I started about 4.5 years back. I'm an artist. I create work that is empowering for women and men. Most of my artwork is around empowerment, love, beauty, and that's why I use a lot of bold colors. Why I started to paint was because I was going through a very traumatizing time in my life where I lost my younger brother, and that got me into painting. And art has helped me heal and has helped other people heal while they listen to my story or look at my art. So that is what I do.
Beautiful.
And I'm really glad I'm here with you today.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Your artwork is a masterpiece. Beautiful. It radiates love and passion. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kendrick Coast, can you help us understand more about trauma and the potential impact it has in an individual life?
Good question. When I think about trauma, I think about an event or an experience that has prolonged effect on our mental well-being. And I like to think about it in the context of, racial trauma, as far as something that I experienced. So in my community, African-American community, you can think of trauma as, you're driving down the road and a police officer is behind you. There are things that we experience in our bodies. So, sweaty palms, the heart rate may increase. You may feel something in your stomach. And to me, that is something that we don't always have a control over that. It's just something that happens. And given our experiences here in the United States of racial trauma, of what we've experienced forever, these things happen. And so they can manifest in different ways. Anger can be one of the things, as far as if we don't have a space to openly express our feelings that we go through, it can impact our relationship. So whether we have healthy relationships or conflict in relationships, and they can create this sense of avoidance. So we are avoiding specific situations. So again, I go back to the situation of talking about racial trauma when it comes to police officers. We see a police officer, and a lot of times in my community, we want to avoid that officer because of the given experiences that we've either seen or have experienced ourselves. And so that's one example. There are several, but I think to put into context of what many people of color in the United States experience, I think that's a very common experience, and most people will understand that one.
Beautiful, beautiful. Grant Jones, do you have something to touch on?
Yes. Recently, I got pulled over by a cop, and it was one of those, oh my God, I can't believe what I just did. Right. So I was coming home from an event, driving from Illinois to Minnesota. And, I'm just in cruise, my mind, I'm in cruise control, right? Just doing everything. And I get pulled over. I'm so I can't even think of it. I can't even fathom it, right? I got pulled over on the highway. I'm like, okay, I'm not even thinking. I'm thinking it's just a regular pullover. I never pulled over to the shoulder, right? So the cop is just like, he's beat him. I want to boom, 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 get over.
Goodness.
So it's just like, whoa. And then at the time, I'm like, why am I being yelled at? But the severity of it was I was just like, oh, I didn't pull over to the shoulder. That's one, dangerous for me. And that's two, dangerous for the cop. Because if he gets out, he could get hit by a car. But to Kendrick's point, there's so many times where we try to avoid the cops, or we're not even thinking straight because of the racial stuff that we have been through in the past, just thinking, oh my God, I got to reach for my wallet. I got to make sure I'm doing everything. I'm trying to organize my mind. I'm not even paying attention that I'm not on the side of the road. So to Kendrick's point, it's a lot, right? Where we don't sometimes have that privilege to just think normally. We're always worried about, okay, let me get my wallet out. Let me put it right here. Let me get my license registration ready. That way it doesn't look like I'm reaching for something. So there's a lot to it, just thinking about it on a normal basis. So
these are indeed cases that can be traumatic. I think I've experienced trauma in a different way. When I see my growing up in an African home, there are certain, because I grew up in a space where there was so much violence, and just there was zero tolerance, zero acceptance for my personality. I'll put it that way. And there are moments where you get beaten, you get flogged, you this harsh words. I was not smart enough to realize this these words can be traumatic, just until I got to this stage of my life. Then I started understanding what trauma is and going deep into the meaning and the importance of the healing journey. My therapist said to me, "You have been traumatized as a child, but subconsciously you have blocked it somewhere in your head." But I had this burnout, and then it's like everything just started reflecting again. And I realized, my goodness, growing up in that environment has been traumatic. So in this case, I thought of trauma as, oh, you probably need to be in a terrible car accident, or you need to your house get burned or something. But just words of being beaten or being rejected, these can also lead to traumas in our life. And for me, this was my experience with trauma. And yes, I had to heal from that, and I'm still healing from it. This is my take on it. It can be anything. Every little part of what you've experienced that isn't feeling well, isn't emotionally or physically, can lead to traumas. And thank you so much, Grant, for sharing that. Bitweezy, what is your take on trauma?
I think sometime 2012 or thereabout. I was in the studio recording actually, and my phone got stolen, and I spent my last cash trying to get a big event for I and a couple of artists. So in this process, I was basically going to the printing press, doing some T-shirts, doing some CD jackets and all that. I spent like a fortune on that project, and I was trying to see how I can, get a couple of bucks from the events. It's actually a very big event in Nigeria here, and once you got an artist on that show or that platform, you are made. And at the end of the day, the contact and everything I was supposed to have, and the account number and everything, like the president of the event management and all that, the whole contact and everything I got was on that phone. And they were supposed to pay in. I sent my invoice already and all. They were supposed to pay in that period of time, and that phone got stolen. And I thought the phone would be probably, falling somewhere behind the speakers or the mixer, the console or wherever. So we had to do a search, like a total search all over the studio and all that. And the phone was nowhere to be found at the end of the day. And that really got me pissed off and all that. So I just found myself in a situation whereby I can just literally think, or I just don't know the best way to go about it. And that cost me a whole lot, like throughout the whole period. Like I wasn't ever able to pay my rent because I spent my whole cash trying to get this big deal and all that, because it's I think a couple of $1 million. And I couldn't pay my bills, I couldn't pay my rent, I was devastated and all that. So I had to, the following year I had to move to my brother's place, and a whole lot of people owing me money and all that. When you're trying to get a hold of them, you're trying to reach them, nobody's taking your call. It was crazy, man. I don't want to go deep in details, but like falling into trauma and all that, it's not, a child's play. It's not something I want to wish for anybody or any of my enemies, trust me. So that was just that was a little take of my experience over the years. So I don't wish to see anybody in such situation like that. It was crazy, trust me. So that's my take for the moment.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that, a bit easy.
Mhm.
Fuya, what is your take on trauma?
Well, for me, trauma has come in different ways. Like you said, Kelly, that words that are told to you over and over again, they can be traumatizing. You start to believe in them. You subconsciously, yes, you are there. And those are your trigger points that anytime, even in a conversation, somebody's using that word without knowing what you've been through, you will have a traumatizing effect to that, and you will have an emotional effect, and you would just start reacting in a different way. So when I was growing up, there are a lot of things that were told to me, and I constantly want to seek approval of others. That was one part of it. When I was 20, I lost my mother to cancer, and she was struggling with it for 2 years. She was a very brave person. But in the end, I saw her go down, and that was very, very difficult for me at that stage of my life. About 5 years back, I lost my younger brother. I was there for 2 months, watching him struggle in and out of the hospital. And finally, he had to leave. And last year, I lost my father, who I was way too close to. And I'm very grateful to God that I could just go and meet him and be there for the final rituals. But all of these things had a very negative impact on me because you feel, even though you're there, you feel so helpless. And I always have that kind of feeling of I am helpless, I'm not good enough, or I need approval. When I got into art, like I said, it was after he passed away because I had a memory of him and I sitting together, just in a corner, and he would be reading his book, and I would be, just painting. And I am a Reiki practitioner as such, so I started meditating, and I saw myself painting in front of one of the windows in our house, and I was painting a very bold and beautiful woman. And I shared that with my husband, and he said, "Oh, I've always thought that you can get into art easily." So when I paint, there are a lot of my paintings about healing or what I've dreamt about. I do have a lot of vivid dreams and stuff, so I dream about my paintings most of the time, and that helps me create or help others have a beautiful path in life. And that is my experience with trauma. That is like a few experiences in trauma, but yeah, I mean, there's more, but. I am actually glad that you all are healing in your own ways.
Beautiful. I so sorry for your loss, Puya.
Thank you.
During this hard times and turbulent times, how were you able to heal from it through the help of or the help of Reiki, your spiritual journey?
It was help of Reiki, yes, but when you're dealing with so much in life and loss mainly, all those things that you've learned go down in the trash can, to be honest. It's with the support of people that are around you, who will understand, who may not understand initially, because I had a battle there too, where I knew I was going down in depression, and surrounded by people, you still feel so lonely. You don't want to do things, you don't want to step out, you don't even want to dress up. You just want to be in one place, not smile. And that happened for months and months, and I could not explain it to people that I'm going into depression. Finally, there came a point where I actually could not lift my finger. It was that bad. And I started to cry, and my husband looked at me and he was like, "Oh, you need to see a doctor." So I went through therapy. I went through, I was on medication. Of course, my children, they would make sure that they would come and hug me and love me and tell me that, my brother is around, which is being said to you by a 9-year old, or or a 5-year old. It hits you hard at times, and you start to go like, okay, if they can see me going down, you need to pull yourself up. So with the support of people that will love me, yes, my spiritualism, my positive attitude picked me up and started making those changes in my life. And again, like I said, I always could connect with colors and art, so diving deep into it gave me a whole big meaning for life, and that helped me a lot.
Beautiful. To you, Kendrick, what is your advice in dealing with it, in coping and dealing with
I
it?
think that as we are healing, there is at times there's highs and lows. The emotions can be high one day, the emotions can be low one day. And as Puya had mentioned, it's just like re-narrating our thoughts of what we think about ourselves. And so seeing those sticky notes, I am beautiful, today's going to be a great day, over and over and over, to where we are basically restructuring, some of the ways our brain is taking in information. So I like that point, because that piece there of having community during the healing process is so important. I think that is one of the hardest parts when we are going through healing and trying to work through trauma, is sometimes these experiences come back. It's not one of those things to where, at least in my space, clients that I've seen, it's not one of those things you see a therapist and boom, trauma it's gone. There are some cases where the actual feeling of what traumatic experiences we have gone through, those might not ever leave our thoughts, but we can find different ways of how we approach it or how we handle it when we are triggered. I mentioned the point earlier with, the racial trauma and police officers. At least for me, that's something that will never go away, but I can learn, or have found ways to, adapt my approach. And sometimes it's, talking to myself, this officer is not trying to hurt me. We do see that in the media, but I have to say those things because in my body, I can feel the anxiety of the police officer behind me, my heart rate and my, the anxiety in my stomach. The feelings are so strong, they become overwhelming. And once they become overwhelming, then I can't use my logical brain to work through the things that I'm going through. And so, I think that as we talk about trauma, there are different ways people can heal from the actual experience, but it is a process. It is one of those things that I often say, how much skin in the game does one have to their actual healing? Because in my position, I can see people and they can come to therapy all day long. But if I'm giving homework assignments that they should be doing throughout the week and they don't do it, then how do we know that true healing can actually happen? And one of the things I often say is, just think about when, I think everybody here can, agree that we've all had a cold or we've been ill at one time in our lives. And we go to the store and get medicine. We'll just say it's a cold. And we take the medication once out of the 6-7 days to alleviate some of the symptoms. If we only take it one day, we don't know if that medication is actually working. So it's similar to therapy. If we go to therapy one time and expect some of the symptoms and some of the pain that we've been experiencing to go away, I think that's setting folks up for, false expectations of what therapy actually is. I say therapy is a place where it's a journey of healing. It's a journey of learning who we truly are as people, because trauma has a funny way of forcing us to suppress a lot of the emotions that we go through, especially at least for us men. Well, I won't say all men, but generally speaking, in my experiences, us men don't necessarily talk about some of the traumatic experiences that we've gone through. And so if we can't actually speak about these things, how can we heal from these things? So we have to, there's also a verbal aspect of things, of getting these emotions out of our bodies, verbalizing them, talking about them in a safe space so that we can start our healing. So, again, those are some of the things that I've seen as far as what's the difficult part of healing is, one, finding somebody that's, in my example, finding a culturally competent therapist who understands my experiences is one of the things. It's hard to find a therapist of color sometimes. Knowing that, having a clear expectation that therapy may last more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. And then the last point, again, having community is one of the key pieces to actually healing.
Wow. Your perspective on this is beautiful. It is really touching. Thank you so much for that profound wisdom. Grant Jones, do you have something to share on this aspect of healing?
Man, just conversation so deep, like Pooja and then Kendrick, everyone's points, but about community. I'm just thinking about mine. I'm trying to listen in, but like it's so difficult. Right. So quick for me, entertainer back in 2018, wanted to live that LA lifestyle. I got to move to LA, right? So my friends were moving and they invited me to live with them. But long story short, I had a apartment contract. I needed to find a subleaser. Didn't do the research, didn't do a background check on my subleaser, let him stay in my apartment. Turns out he was bipolar and he was alcoholic. And the signs weren't there at first. And then gradually it started getting worse and worse. TV started going missing. Keys were getting broken into. The apartment was like in smoke sometimes from him cooking and not realizing that if he was burning stuff. And one day it was literally just trashed, right? I get home from work, the whole apartment's trashed. And because I was more worried about him paying the rent rather than going through the procedures and skipping steps, his name wasn't on the lease. It was my name. So guess who had to pay all the damages? When you told that story about losing everything, that's literally what happened to me. I had all this money that I was saving to make my dreams come true, to get me to that next level. And then now I'm in a position where, wow, like it's gone. all that money has to go. I'm in debt now. I had to move in with my parents. And that goes back to Pooja's point, just having that community to support you when you're going through something like that. Where had I not had my family, I don't know what I would have done. Honestly, I don't know if I could have just stayed with a friend, just sleeping on people's couches. And I think what got me out of it was my faith spiritually, right? My mom was just telling me, like, you should like press charges and stuff, and then do all this stuff, because his parents told me they were going to pay for everything, right? Because it obviously has happened before. And lastly, because my name was the only one on the lease, their lawyer said, no, you guys probably shouldn't do that. He should probably just figure it out. So my mom wanted me to go and sue them or get money. And then I'm like, Mom, everything happens for a reason. You just got to trust. You can't see it right now, but it's all going to work out. Living with my parents forced me real quick to say, this ain't it. I can't do this much longer, right? So that's when I applied to be on Carnival Cruise Line. And that's how I got my start in DJing. And then when I got on Carnival Cruise Line, everything was just in alignment for me. But had I not gone through that trauma and gone through that situation, I would have tried to move out to LA. I would have had to work 3 jobs, and I might have been on stage a couple times, and I probably would have been even miserable. Going on Carnival Cruise, I won Employee of the Month. I learned how to DJ. Now I have my own company because I know all the skill sets I learned through Carnival. I can apply that now on the ground. So Kendrick, you just inspiring me so much. Me and Kendrick know each other. Just hearing his stories and just talking about trauma and how sometimes a setback is a setup, right? And it's going to set you into what you need to become. There's certain aspects of your life where you needed to go through that in order to get to the next level. So obviously, when you're going through it, it's difficult, and you can't understand it until hindsight. So I'm grateful for the experiences. And my advice to anyone going through something is, one day at a time, just keep going. Affirmations, Pooja, I do them every single day. I am worthy, I'm enough, I'm beautiful, and just really focus on, keep movement. Just keep on moving, and you got this.
Wow. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Always.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Grant Jones. Thank you. Bitweezy, do you have something to touch
Yes,
on?
yes, sir. Like I heard everybody's story here. It's quite touching and inspiring. You feel me? And I learned a whole lot from listening to everyone's story here, and it's quite an amazing one because if Kelly, if you know the city of Abuja, Nigeria, that's the Federal Capital Territory. It's one of the most expensive place living in Nigeria, and like I mentioned earlier on, I had to move to my brother's, and it wasn't easy, like way back 2010 or straight up to 10 to 2012. I had to stay like a couple of years before I can, literally bounce on my feet and all that. So not just that, because I've been hearing a whole lot, you know, this person is going to say this person is going to call and be like, hey, I heard, man, you went down. It was sort of mockery and all that, hearing all these things keep making your situation worse, because they be like, once you're up here, certain situation and the next level you're down, it's not a good thing. So, way back we wrote with radio DJs, we wrote with top shots, big boys, celebrities and all that. And now, man, you can't meet up because I was living like an hour plus out of the town. I was like in a satellite town. So, once I go for party, once I go for shows, once it's getting to late night, I will start, finding a way to go back. It wasn't funny, because I wasn't in the town no more. I wasn't in the city. I have to, go back, to like drive like 2 hours and all that. So it wasn't funny, trust me. And everybody be like, hey, what's up, man? The party's just getting started, man. Why you going? Why you living, man? I can't even say it because it was shameful. I don't know the best way to go about it or how to put my face to that. But thank God for family and friends. When whenever they come around, they tell me, "Hey, Big Weezy, don't worry, you can do this." Just forget about all that. Just live your life as a normal human being, and just keep pushing. Don't give up. So later on, my brother's gonna link me up to a certain producer. They're gonna link me up to a singer. Why not, just sit down, do something with these people, while away time, share experience and all that. So I just, I find it like kind of difficult though, mingling with new people I haven't met before. But trust me, I took the advice and I started mingling with these people. They are amazing. Trust me. We sit down, yeah, we share ideas, we share inspiration. I make beats, I put my headpiece on, I listen to beats all day, try to make something, put myself in a world, like a trance. whereby there's nobody saying me. I don't want to hear nothing, no negative words and all that. So I just want to stay focused and positive. And at the end of the day, a friend called me like after after a couple of years, a friend called me. He was like, "What's up? You still have your studio equipments with you?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I didn't sell none of them. I still got them." He was like, "Good and fine, good and fine." He's got a place. If I don't mind, I can come check it out. Then let's set up a company, like a recording studio and like a mini label and all that. And I bought the idea and all that. So I had to, rush quickly. I went to him and all that. He showed me the space. He's got about two space. And I saw the first one. I'd be like, nah, this one, we're too close to the neighbors and all that. We're gonna disturb. So because my speakers are big and all that, so I had to we had to go to the other one, like a commercial district and all that. So we went there, and then I saw the place and I love it. So we had to, start up something. Then after a couple of weeks, we end up setting up and all that, and here we are today, man. To God
Wow.
be the glory. And yeah, the journey was a long one though, but we thank
The
God.
beautiful. The importance of community, it is
Hmm.
massive. It
Yeah,
can
it is.
really impact your life in so many ways,
Trust me.
great ways, really uplifting. Guys, thank you so much for this deep insight. Thank you so, so much. Kendrick, when situations that confirm our trauma keep coming up, how do we use this to create reality effectively?
Good question. And I think that going to my point earlier, as far as some of the traumatic experiences that we have, they may not ever leave our mind, but we can adapt and change the way we respond. And a lot of times, when we think about trauma, it's how we respond to the actual traumatic event. And so there may be situations where, the reality is the reality of, hey, this was my experience and this is what I went through, but I'm not going to allow this traumatic experience to dictate who I am and where I'm going. So I want to say that again. The reality of trauma, it may not ever leave our minds, but we can change how we react and respond to the traumatic event, and we can make sure that we're not allowing it to dictate where we are going. Because a lot of times what happens is we become victim to these traumatic experiences. And that's when I talk to people, that's the last thing we want to do, is give power over this event that we sometimes didn't even have control over. That can range from abusive relationships, that can range from racial discrimination, that can be a situation, as far as, I don't want to say the word, but in a situation where you're forced to do something sexually with somebody else. Like, all of these things, sometimes we don't have control over them, but we have control over our narrative of what we think about ourselves, and we have control over how we respond to these things, especially if we've been given the tools to learn how to respond to these things. And so, as far as the reality, that is the reality. We didn't have control a lot of times, but we have control over what we want the next phase of our lives to be, because we do have control over re-narrating our story.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that I tell folks is, hey, if you were 10 years old, or if you were 15 years old and something happened to you, you only know what you know. If you were an adult put in a specific situation and you didn't have the tools to respond to the specific situation because the feelings were so overwhelming, sometimes that's not your fault. Sometimes that's the body warning us, hey, this is too much for me. And what does it do? Sometimes it shuts down our brain and being able to logically think through a process of how do we protect ourselves. So a lot of times what happens is that traumatic experience gets stored in our body. There's a book out there, it's called The Body Keeps Score. And so these traumatic experiences get stored in our bodies. And then when we're triggered again, it's like, oh no, like this feels like the similar situation 2 years ago. Again, I go back to, it is important to learn the tools on how to work through those specific situations. And we need the tools to be able to re-narrate our story around that specific event.
What can become some common tools in order to re-narrate the story?
That's a great question. I think a lot of times, one, as we sometimes commonly hear it, talk therapy. So having a professional guide you down re-narrating your story. And I keep on, beating a dead horse of re-narrating your story, because that's literally what it is we were put in a situation. Sometimes we now think that we are to blame for that situation, or we think that we're not good enough for future growth. So a lot of times, again, working with a professional, Sometimes it's having awareness of what we're actually experiencing in our bodies. Because when we go through traumatic experiences, sometimes we get so detached. So you have the brain body connection. Sometimes the brain is detached from the body. And a lot of times the body sends our brain signals of what's going on. So if we're detached and we experience something, we might not know what it is. We're just like, man, this situation feels really weird, but I just can't put my finger on it. So that's another way. The other thing is breath work. A lot of times when I'm working with people is how do you learn how to breathe in those situations so that the anxiety or the trauma doesn't come back and overwhelm you to where you go into fight or flight, meaning you run away from the situation or you fight the situation and then you have that aspect of freeze. Your brain's just so overwhelmed you don't know what to do. And then I think Pooja, you had mentioned meditation. Meditation, there's lots of research out there that shows that meditation is beneficial for mental well-being. It also helps us promote or provide more awareness of our bodies when we are going through certain situations.
I am deeply blessed for this community. You guys are continuously enriching me with profound wisdom and knowledge, and I believe also countless others. Kendrick, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. I really love your perspective on that.
Thank you.
Puya. Sorry, I really need some time to let that all sink in. Puya,
Mhm.
what are some ways we can eliminate fear from being a barrier or hindrance to our healing journey?
Some ways would be first would be acknowledging your fears. Um, like, okay, a simple thing like I had a fear of getting into a room which is dark when I was a child. I don't know where the fear came from at that point of time, but now I know how the fear was built into me and put into me. It's because my oldest sister would always like say, "Oh, if you like, do this, I'm gonna turn off the light, and then the ghost is gonna come in." All those kind of stories. So funny now, but at that time I was a child, and she's also doing it out of fun, but it had a larger impact on me. So I always had the fear of, okay, what do I do? How do I get into the room? But now it's like, okay, my belief of acknowledging that yes, I do have this fear. Second acknowledgement is second thing to do is okay, face it. Yes, the room is dark. You have to be the one who has to get inside. Cut off all those voices inside you and go and turn off the light and see for yourself that there's nothing in there. So my belief is yeah, of course, right? All the kids have that issue, and my boys have issue, and I always tell them, yeah, just there's nothing in there. This is your own house. Walk in there. I'm standing right by you. There's nothing that's gonna come and harm you. Don't worry. But like we grow up, we have a number of fears, fears of acceptance, fear of just being at certain places. So I've lived in three different countries. I am Indian. I am from Bombay. Then I moved to Dubai after my marriage. Of course, I had fear of unknown, wherein I don't know if people would accept me out here or not. But ended up, I had a huge group. I loved the place. People loved me. That fear got away. Then I moved to US. It's been 5 years. I had a fear of what if I say something wrong? What if I do something wrong? What if the other person really does not like it? And in the end, now that I've grown up and I've matured in life, I feel that I shouldn't be having those fears. Rather be fearless and doing whatever you have to do and say what you have to do because you're not saying it or doing it in a wrong way. It's how the other person perceives who you are or accepts you. So those kind of fears that we have about ourselves, how we dress up, how we step out, or even how we talk, or fear of like Kendrick said, like the fear of police or cops coming in and all those things. Yes, it does like have an impact on you, one of the experiences, but it's again your positive mindset and how you tell yourself over and over again, hey, you had that happen. Wait and watch what's going to happen. Probably this time around, even with the same experience, you might react in a different way. You might just handle it pretty well, right? Because you've had the experience. But if you let that fear come in, you're gonna like be miserable out there. You're gonna say something wrong again. You're gonna put yourself in trouble because those stories are still in you. And you just need to know how to just cover your base up and positive thinking, pushing yourself and saying
Yeah.
things like, nothing's going to destroy you, nothing's going to come in your way. And that fear was there, but you're the only one who can control it. So go, just control that and move forward in life. That's my take on fear.
Beautiful.
Yes, I love what you just said right there, right? You just got to keep moving. Also, I'm sure we all heard from either a motivational speaker or celebrity, God put the best things on the other side of fear, right? And I remember I was listening to Ed Milet, and he was telling on his guest speaker said, it's not that you're crazy, it's that you're first, right? And so with that being said, you're going to be first in a lot of things, right? You might be the first to break generational curses. You might be the first to start your own business. You might be the first to have your own LLC. A lot of times fear is there to prevent us to do that, right? Because I know for me being an entertainer, I'm worried sometimes about what other people will perceive if I do that. And that's where I think therapy is a really good outlet for that, to understand and have the tools to say, why am I so fearful of this? Oh, when I was a kid, I was stuck in a closet, right? And it got locked, right? So I'm scared of the dark. So now if you look at it, Grant, as a kid, as a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old, that was pretty scary. But now you can reframe that mindset, right? And say, it wasn't that bad. If you think about it, you were probably in that closet for another 1 or 2 minutes, right? And your mom unlocked the door or something like that. So as an adult, you can see a different perspective. And now you can tell your story, like Kendrick was saying, how that situation was there for a reason, right? Now you learn how to reframe it. Now, so you have the setup to say, when something else happens to me that gets traumatized, I know how to reframe it and look at it. And now you're in a position where you can say, okay, this is always going to be a case. You're always going to go up and down in life. It's not about, I'm going to steal it from Gaia. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's all about how you choose to respond. And that's where therapy will help you have the tools to how to go through those triggers and say, okay, I can see what's happening now. I'm very self-aware of what's going on in my situation. And now I have the choice not to get triggered or make that reaction like I would in the past. And that's when we can see growth. That's when we can see that we're not being fearful. I personally believe you can't eliminate fear, but I feel like she said, you face it, right? You grab it by the horns and you talk to your fear and you say, hey, I'm scared to do this, but I'm not going to allow that to dictate my life. I'm going to do it anyway when I'm fearful. And that's where you understand your self-worth, you understand your courage, and you build that confidence to move forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beats Weezy.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a different question for you.
Okay.
Can we create a more trauma-informed society that better understands and responds to the needs of trauma survivors?
Okay. Just like everybody has mentioned up here, I think I get 1 or 2 points from everyone here. And first and first, I think there should be a community, there should be a community hangout or a community event whereby they get like a couple of therapists who's gonna come around, talk to people, share highlights and let a whole lot of people know how it's going down. So it's gonna be like a one-on-one interaction where a whole lot of people gonna come around and people actually gonna share, from the innermost part, a couple of experience they've had, a couple of years and all that. Everybody's gonna, have, entitled to the 1 or 2 opinions, and things they had way back. And like when everybody was talking about fear, I remember way back as far back as '90s when we had this TV series Karashika. I don't know, Kelly, you remember about it? So it was, yeah, Karashika. It was way too scary, for a kid. Watching that, it's just like
I
a
never watched
horror
it.
movie.
Thank
So
God.
after, yeah, after watching the movie, like later on at like midnight, you wanna like, I'm trying to go out to have a leak, and before I reach to the restroom, there's a small parlor, like a sitting room for for the kids in the house, and the window, the big window, it's always open. Nobody care to lock the window because it's just facing the backyard. So, and when I see the trees, they be like shaking and all that. Like, so sometimes I feel there are something on top of the trees, that's gonna actually stretch, reach for me and grab me out and all that. So each time I'm going out, I always squat, tipping toes, go to the restroom, and anytime I'm taking a leak, I make sure it doesn't go straight to the WC. It's gonna be like at the wall, the edges of the WC, and once I'm done, man, I speed up. So straight back to the room and all that. So growing up with this fear and all that, I grew up knowing, okay, I'm trying to do an event, I'm trying to do a show, and stuff like that. And my greatest fear is What if I put a whole lot of money in this? At the end of the day, am I going to get turn up? Will people actually turn up and all that? So it's the same situation like a whole lot of people facing, that's the number one fear. Even like no matter how big you are, that's the first fear that's going to come to your mind. Like you're trying to run for a political, career and all that. The first thinking that goes to your mind is, will I win? What if I don't win? So back to your question, Kelly. Without wasting any much of your time, I think there should be like a community town hall, gathering. you know there should be a social awareness, telling people, we're going to set up a date and everybody should try, attend this function. It's going to be of a good benefit for everyone. And then if they have a couple of therapists coming out to share highlights and telling people the benefits, of all this and how it's going to be in the turnout, just like I think it was Grant. Oh no, I think no, somebody mentioned something like you visiting a therapist, and you thinking you're gonna get a result over just 1 week or two
Kendrick,
or
yeah,
thereabout. Yeah, okay,
with
yeah,
the
it was Kendrick. Yeah,
medicine, and yeah,
yeah. It's not gonna work that way. It has to be, consistently, back and forth, like you having that retention time. Then at the end of the day, then definitely one day it's just gonna occur, and you'll be like, oh, this thing works. And she mentioned earlier on, like, she just put her hands on the chest and, just take that healing gradually, gradually. So once you believe positively, it's going to work. Trust me. But
yeah,
it takes a couple of time and
yeah,
effort. Yeah.
yeah,
And the to do list, when you put it, okay, this is what I want to do today, you put it on your freezer, you put it somewhere in your mirror, you put it somewhere where you have your first 8 bucks somewhere, anywhere in the house, and you can put it in your car, like at the dashboard somewhere, and whenever you just step into your car, and that's the first thing you're going to sight.
yeah.
So for me, I believe, yeah, it's a gradual procedure, and a
Hmm.
community a gathering or a town hall gathering should be set up where a whole lot of people should come out and listen, have one or two experience and share highlights and experience. I think for me, that's the best way to go about certain situation.
Beautiful. The
Yep.
importance of having like-minded community, staying
Hmm.
positive. You know, this just reminds me of my fear growing up. It was actually being my true self. My fear was being my true self because it was never accepted in my home. So I go out, I go to school, I'm a whole different person. And I come home, I'm a whole different person. And sometimes I just you just forget, like, oh, you are now at home and this is not allowed to express yourself in all this goodness. So I just forget that sometimes, and I just sometimes I do like this, or when I'm talking to my brother, I just express myself in a very girly way, and it's like bam on your head. Stop acting like that. And yeah, that was very traumatizing. But growing up, that was really my fear of being my authentic self, and it took me a long time getting to know like-minded individuals, building communities, starting my podcast, all this wisdom and enlightenment. It really enriches my personality. I'm able to express myself, be my authentic self now. I'm able to stand up for myself because I gotta love myself. And if you wanna hurt me from being myself, then go ahead. I know that I will keep fighting for the person that I am and loving the person that I am. And yeah, continue to surround myself with beautiful minds like you all, and a lot more. Thank you so much, Bitweezy, for sharing that.
I appreciate it.
Grant Jones, what
Definitely.
is your what is your take on
One
this?
more time, the question, because I'm all over the place right now. I'm just like thinking.
So, how can we create a more trauma-informed society?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So yeah, once again, back to be Weezy. The community part is very key. Once again, acknowledging, not to promote trauma bonding, but understanding that there's somebody out there that understands to a degree what you've been through. Right. Sometimes it's not good to just keep on talking about it and try to get answers from it. Sometimes you just need that ear, right, of someone just listening, right? And sometimes I've learned through therapy with my therapist, just talking about it, and she'll just keep on letting me talk, and I'll answer my own question. It's that, and I'm like, wait a minute, right? So it's so funny though, right? Because it's some truth to that. We do all the answers within us, right, from a spiritual aspect, and we understand ourselves the best. Whether I talk to my parents, whether I talk to my sister, my best friend, nobody knows the way I work the best except me, because I live with myself daily. I know my habits. I know my vices. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to eat. Like, the problem is we're so worried, to your point, Kelly, to be our authentic self, right? And so that's the thing. Some of the times it's not even other people, it's us. We're in our own way. So once again, I think, one, having that community to talk about it, but two, having the practice and the tools to apply it to your own self. Because once again, Kendrick's point, you can't just take the medicine and come every Sunday, right? You have to apply it every single day, put in the work each and every time. Because if not, you're never going to reach that potential of that real authentic self. My therapist said, therapy's not there to fix you. Therapy's there to help you get the tools, whether she hands me a wrench to fine tweak something, whether she gives me like a jack to start chiseling down what I need to do to get to that subconscious mind to say, that's why I do that. That's why I wear green on Wednesday. I miss my mom. Or, there's something that we're missing, right? And we have the missing pieces. We have the key to unlock that potential of our authentic self.
I was sitting here just like thinking about it, and you made a good point, Grant, of therapy is not there to fix you. Therapy is to provide you the tools that you need to help you answer the questions you already have. And I think that there is a misunderstanding sometimes that, I'm going to go to a therapist and this therapist is going to fix me and then I'm going to be good. That's not the case. Like, again, I go back to my point earlier, you have to have skin in the game. So take an example. If you get a personal trainer, you want to get fit, get muscles, whatever, you can't just go to the personal trainer and say, hey, fix me. Give me some big biceps. Give me some big muscles. Give me a 6-pack abs. You actually have to work to do these things. You have to have tools. The other piece to that is, how can we create a more conscious society around trauma is, number one, self-awareness. I think that in our society, and I think it's been going in this direction, we naturally are selfish individuals. I think it's just human nature. We are selfish individuals. But having this ability to be consciously aware of, like Grant said, why we do what we do, but being able to also self-regulate our emotions to open up space for other people is key. Because if we don't even know what's going through our bodies and how our nervous system is responding to other people in our space, we can't start having the conscious conversation around how do we start accepting trauma? How do we start accepting people for their experiences? Because sometimes we may go into judgment of, this person went through a traumatic experience at 10 years old. They should be better by now. They're 35. That's not the case. Again, I go back to what I said earlier, is the body keeps the score. And these traumatic experiences get shoved somewhere in our bodies. And so when we start talking about them, we're like, man, just feel like there's a dark knot in my stomach. I got tension in my shoulders. My jaw is really tight. I don't understand why. But when I bring up my ex-partner, or I bring up an experience that I went in when I was working at an old job 10 years ago, it's like, that's why I was doing those things. That's why my body is feeling these things. So that self-awareness aspect is key. The other part that I'll also mention is having people in spaces, so people we look up to, expressing and sharing their experiences with us. I don't think that this is something that we can say, I read a book and there was a traumatic experience and I know what trauma is. Okay. There might be a piece of that of understanding what trauma is, but who is showing you the way to the actual healing aspect of things? And if we're never in spaces to where we can actually see people heal from these things, or express or talk about how powerful the healing journey is after seeking a professional or going through Reiki or meditation, it's harder for us to move forward with like, I'm going to go and get a therapist. It's very similar to, we've all been in a situation where, hey, do you know a wedding planner? Do you know somebody I can contact? Hey, do you know a chef because I want these meals for an event? Hey, do you know a beat maker, a producer? Do you know an entertainer? Do you know somebody with artwork? A lot of times it's dependent on our circle because we're so influenced by the people we trust. So there was a lot there, but main piece in that is I think it begins with self-awareness.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. But I do know a healer. Puya, send me some healing. Thank you so much, Kendrick, for sharing that. Thank you. Puya, this question is for you. What message of hope and resilience would you share with a trauma survivor?
I would say don't doubt yourself, keep pushing. Love yourself. That is the most important thing. Because I believe if you do not love yourself, you will not be able to love another person ever. Or accept the love that's coming your way. Acknowledge your fears, acknowledge all those things that you've been going through since childhood, the words, everything, and then turn it into a beautiful thing by putting a little positivity out there. Uh, Pain can be love, or pain can just be anything in your sense, right? Like anything that you feel. It could be love, it could be freedom, it could be like converted into a positive thing. So it could be love, it could be, any achievement that you have. So in my opinion, it's all about acknowledgement. It's about giving yourself that love, accepting yourself, giving yourself time to heal, and giving yourself time to move on. And when you move on and you see things that happen in a positive way, always pat your back and say, hey, you did this for yourself and you should be proud of yourself. So that is what I feel is much needed. Again, healing, as you call me the healer here, healing is a very slow process. It takes a lot of time. Like Kendrick said, that even when you go to a therapy, I've been through therapy as well after my brother's death. And it took me a long, long time. And within those sessions, I was just not talking about loss. I was talking about trigger words. I was talking about acceptance. I was talking about a lot of things. And the therapist actually helped me to take it on a different level and be like, who's the one who's saying that to you? Is that you yourself? Or is somebody else coming up to you and saying those words to you? And I was like, yeah, that made sense. So every time I have those kind of thoughts or fears or anything that come into my mind, I always question, like, who is it who's saying it? Is it just your subconscious self, or is it somebody right now in front of you actually pinpointing that to you? And I can very well say nobody in my life has been pointing that at me right now, but it's just me and myself doing it. So again, loving yourself, acknowledging that's your past, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, pampering yourself, because you know the best that you like Grant said too, like you know yourself the best. So yes, you know yourself the best. Heal at a little like small little baby steps and levels where some people healing is music, some people is Reiki, some people it's prayer, some people it's just reading, getting out in nature, all of those things. Art is very healing because it deals with colors, and colors really, every color makes you go through an emotion. Red is bold, so it'll have like a lot of energy. Red, blue, all those things. White is very like subtle, and beige, all those things. At times I play around with inks because they have a mind of their own, and I have a mind of my own too. So whenever I play with inks, it's like the way it flows. It just keeps me thinking about the flow of life, how we've been from this end to that end, and we look at all the accomplishments we've had throughout life, and that kind of has a very positive impact on you. And so that's why I always love yourself, accept, and move on.
Beautiful. Wow. Grant Jones, do you have something to share on this?
Man, like everyone's just, you know what I mean? Everyone's points are just on. But once again, that just attests to the fact that we've all been through something, right? We all recognize that, hey, we've done this before, and we're still going. There's still a lot of work that we all need to do. And so for anyone watching this right now, I would just encourage you to look at our situations from time to time and see how you can apply it to your life. We might not grew up in the same background. We might have a different living environment, but we're all more alike than we are different. And at the end of the day, we're all one race with the human race, right? So understanding that, we can connect and we can help each other heal through the process. Once again, that community aspect, please reach out to us if you guys have any questions. Talk to Kelly. Kelly, once again, I just want to say thank you for putting us on this platform again, because you have a way of finding the right people with these experiences, right? And all of us can connect. I can connect with Pooja because I've done Reiki before. I can connect with Kendrick because I'm in therapy right now. I can connect with Beat Weezy because I'm a entertainer, and then I can connect with you because, man, you're just all of it, man. You're just everything.
Thank you guys, man. You guys are incredible.
That's what I would like to say to you, man. Thank you for putting this together for us, because it does take somebody of a good spirit to find the right people, have that discernment to say, this is the person I want. Well, that person might connect with this person. So just having that in mind and organizing this, I just want to say thank you. So
thank you too. It's easy.
Kelly, I've got not much to say anymore because virtually Puya, Kendrick, Grant, everybody just said it all. You feel me? So I think, man, we can go with them. All that. We
Beautiful.
cool. I just want to say I appreciate you having us down here on this platform, and trust me, whenever you need me, man, just one down, man. I'm always stand up. Trust me. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much, man, for having us all here today. I'm meeting everybody for the first time here, and definitely we're gonna connect. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Kendrick, words of resilience and hope.
I had to sit and just kind of think through, like Grant said, everything that has been said during this episode is very stimulating for my mind. Just taking it all in, we all are the authors to our story. We are the masters of our story. We're the everything to our story. And I think that human beings are resilient and strong people, but sometimes we are in positions that we forget those things. Just think about all of our collective experiences that we've gone through and the things that we've talked about. We wouldn't be where we're at now if we weren't resilient. But part of that is, one, connecting with other people that inspire us, connecting with other people that see us, and thirdly, connecting with other people who hear us, because we all have needs. And I think sometimes as a society, we are taught not to speak up about our needs and our wants. We all have them. And we are all, again, resilient. We are the authors. We are the masters. We are the pros of our story. And so the word of advice that I would give anybody who is listening to this podcast is, again, believe that you can heal from whatever you've experienced. It's not too late. Sometimes it can be, well, it's too late. This is how my life is. No, it's not. Again, we have the power and we have the ability to change the perspective on how we see things. Yes, it is hard, but the old saying goes is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I absolutely disagree with that statement. You can. I think Pete Weezy said it's like you have to have, the motivation to want to do those things. And some of that is influenced by the community of people that we're around. So to you, Kelly, I give you your flowers today. And I thank you for connecting all of us to be able to share our voices, share our experiences, but at the end of the day, share what we know to help other people in this community. So thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you all. This has been a journey. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that has been on the podcast on every segment. It has really been an uplifting journey, healing. I've been enriched with so much knowledge and wisdom, all thanks to you guys. And I believe countless others has taken one or two from all this inspiring segments we've all been on. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your insights, your knowledge, your wisdom, and may the Lord continue to bless you. Amen.
Man.
So, guys, we go on the Christmas edition. Okay, we go on a quick short break, and we will be right back on the Christmas edition.
That's what's up. Yeah, come talk with us. I say TW. That's what's up. Yeah, come talk with us. I say TW.
We
Wish you
Merry
a Merry Christmas. Wish you
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Wish you
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you all so much. On the Christmas edition, Kendrick, what reflection do you have on the past year and what aspiration do you hold on the coming year?
This past year, wow. The beginning of the year, it started with imposter syndrome. Being in a space of academia where I'm just around brilliant people and not feeling that I was enough academically, not feeling that, my voice was powerful enough to make a difference. And that has just been a 12-month process of finding myself and finding my gifts. I think that, I go back to earlier in the episode of sometimes we suppress the things that we are gifted at because we are afraid to be seen. And I think that was some of it. I was just afraid to just really show that, hey, I belong here and I have some valuable things to bring to the table. And so it's been an amazing journey to see where I was last January until now. And the confidence that I've built, I just feel like, I think Deion Sanders says that, my cologne is confidence, because I truly believe in that. I am very confident in myself and what I'm capable of. And I don't doubt myself. In most cases, I don't doubt myself anymore. I have always bet on myself since I was a young kid. I've always bet on myself, and I always knew that my future was going to be bright. It just has taken me a little bit of time, but I appreciate that because I needed that time to learn where I was going, to really see the light of where I was heading. One of the things going into next year, one of the things I want to get better at is really understanding and feeling my nervous system. I think that, I go back to self-awareness. That's where piece that I'm on is if I feel something in my body, I can identify it and I can figure out where it comes from, or figure out where this internal message is coming from as well. So that's, what I'm looking forward to in 2014. And of course, on the career side of things, I'm looking to grow, my podcast, Coats and Conversation, it's centered around mental health, because I think there's so many people, in my community, African-American community, that are looking to be healed. We just don't have the language to talk about and ask for the healing that we need. So I'm looking forward to a bright and powerful 2024, and I'm just excited for it.
Beautiful. Guys, go check him out on his podcast, Coast in Conversation. Thank you so much for sharing that with Weezy. Kendrick.
Kendrick, yeah.
Weezy, what is your reflection on this year?
This year, I was vying to get about 3 videos from my previous album, My Sound of Music, and I couldn't make it though. Having those 3 videos out, but at least to God be the glory, we have one, and it's out now on YouTube and a couple of local TVs and all that. So it's a big plus for me, and congratulations to myself and the whole team, my video director, my management, and everybody who took out the time to show love and support, and all that. But I believe 2024, man, trust me, we're coming out with fire, man. But hopefully this December, I'm not letting it slide just like that. I'm putting out a single. Uh, I'm not gonna give an highlight on that, but I'm putting out the single, and trust me, it's a drill kind of music, UK drill. So it's coming out like I just took the professional photo. So the graphic guy is actually working on it right about now. So hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna get the graphic out, and the audio is dropping out pretty soon. Trust me, this December I'm dropping something. Then 2024 I've got a new album coming out, and I've got tons of videos. Yeah, a whole lot of videos gonna drop. Trust me, coming out with bangers,
Beautiful.
no doubt.
Guys, stay tuned with Weezy on every social media platform. You can find him there.
Yeah, man.
Don't skip on his new releases.
Mm.
Huya, what is your reflection on this year and aspiration for 2014?
This year was difficult. As I said, I lost my dad last year, and I had another traumatic experience when I almost lost myself because I was drowning. We were out, and that was a big change in my life when I realized that I could have gone, and I have young kids at home. It kind of helped me realize that I need to take care of myself more, and just live every day to the fullest. And so in my art career, I've had a good time this year. I did a lot of local events than doing international ones, and I was very happy with that. And every person who would come into my life and look at my art was it was a very positive impact when they got to know the story behind each artwork that I was creating. And next year, what I would like to do is delve more into it, create more, and I already have a series planned of very powerful women and animals, and I plan to talk about it more on my Instagram and Facebook and all. And pamper myself more, take care of my health more, and take care of my mental health more. That is what I want to do. I want to do next year, basically. So yeah, that's what I plan to do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hmm. Grant Jones, what is your reflection on 2014, on this year, and your aspiration for 2014?
Yeah, so absolutely. For me, man, 2023 was all about just building a better relationship with myself, right? So many times as an entertainer, Beat Weezy, I'm sure you can attest to this as well too. I think there's some types of a facade that we have to put on this mask. Like I'm the producer, and then I gotta just get to be Beat Weezy at home. I really resonate with superhero, Spider-Man, having that identity going in and out. For once in my life, I really want to just focus on who Grant Jones was, not the entertainer, not the DJ, but my true essence, right? And that with that being said, I'm really big on energy. And I watch anime, I watch Dragon Ball Z, I watch like Pokemon, all that stuff, right? And if you look at it, the whole time they're just charging their energy. And so it's like you're not giving your energy to anybody else, right? You're learning to say no. You're learning to stand up and speak your truth. And so this whole year I've been just charging that energy. So by the time that bell hits, the ball drops 2024, it's right an explosion right there. So that's what the theme song is Diana Ross. I'm coming out like that. That's the theme song. I'm not worried about what people are thinking about me. I'm not worried about, how they perceive me. I'm living on my own terms. I'm recently single, so ladies, hey, but once again, I'm living the life that I know, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. And if you got a problem with it, either show up or roll out. You know what I mean? So, or it's going to be all about execution for me. So,
wow, execution. Executing every part. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. For me, this year has been really eye opening. There are so many things that I've just been enriched with. I feel blessed. I feel like the universe, there's so much that I feel like, okay, I'm not deserving of, but bless the universe this year. It has been a journey. My mental health has skyrocketed to, I can fully say that I am really positive mentally. I'm loving myself, and I want to continue this journey of self-love, self-growth, and this journey of gratitude. It is everything. Next year, I want to continue having this journal. I have a journal where I write every day like 5 things that I'm grateful for. I put it down in a journal. I want to continue doing that because it really helps me. It helps my heart open up, and I want to keep being in this community, reaching out to more beautiful souls who have beautiful and inspiring stories to share. I really see a lot of beautiful things happening in 2014. Thank you all for being here. Bitweezy, where can people find you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the social media platforms, and my music as well. You can find it on all streaming platforms: YouTube, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Shazam. I'm wherever, all the streaming platforms. Y'all can get me there. Yeah.
Booyah, where can people find you?
Same thing, almost everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That's where you will find me.
What is your Instagram name?
It's at Pujatanator9.
Puja Tamaja 9.
9, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kendrick, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms. It's my first name, Kendrick, last name, Coates. Podcast can be found on any streaming platform. That is my last name, Coates, in conversation. So Coates, and I'm in conversation. So it's kind of like a little play on words. So again, you can find me on all social media platforms, first and last name, Kendrick Coates. And you can find Coates in Conversation on social media platforms and all podcast streaming platforms as well.
Beautiful. Grant Jones, the ultimate entertainer. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at GJ Entertainer right there. Also, you can find me on my website, grantjonesentertainment.com. We do live game shows for corporate events, and we do fun weddings and DJing for schools. And we bring the energy. We help you bring your authentic self out. And if you want to see more videos, you can go on YouTube and type in Grant Jones Entertainment. Would love to talk to you guys and really see everyone have a good time living their best life. So check me out.
Beautiful, beautiful. Guys, please go check them out on their social media platform, on every social media platform. Guys, you are amazing and inspiring. Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful for your presence today. Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you,
We-
Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
have come to the end of today's segment. I wish you all a memorable and a meaningful festive season.
Thank you so
Same
much.
here.
Kelly,
Thank you.
for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank
Have a
you.
great one.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, have a
See you
wonderful
in
one.
2024. I cannot wait. See you all.
Congratulations, guys. Yeah.
Congratulations, big one. Cheers, man. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yay. Have a great day, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Kelly, it was beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Still looking forward to our segment to get done. That will be in 2014. It's like it's just been a very busy weeks. I'm like, okay, we need to do this all together. And I'm really thrilled that you are here today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, thank you. I see that from last time when we spoke and from now, you've healed a lot. You are sounding better. You're sounding confident. I'm actually very proud of you. God bless
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I just don't know. I woke up one morning and I had this positive energy. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm like, oh, my goodness, I need to do something with this.
Maybe it's
I
all
went-
these. Sorry.
So I went all the way to Amsterdam and I started interviewing people and it was so beautiful. The energy it's like I was just meeting only people on that energy frequency, should I say. I'm like, wow, I love this. I want to remain in this energy. I know probably it's not possible, but it's still here. So I'm just enjoying every moment of it.
That's good. I'm glad that your year is ending that way. Keep a positive mind, sticky notes, and
Thank you.
one exercise, like I told you last time, look at yourself in the mirror and just say, I love you.
Thank
And
you.
that's going
Thank
to help
you.
you boost your energy like crazy.
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. You're incredible. See you next year and
See you
have a
next
great,
year.
great festive
too.
season.
Yes. Merry Christmas and
Okay.
a very
Merry
beautiful New
Christmas.
Year.
You too. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Professionally, got them kids that say
They don't like what you're doing. These people are jealous.
oh, what's popping my
Everyone has a mental health issue or they are dealing
And God forbid someone happens
with
tomorrow. I don't do that.
It's really important to be self-aware of what
So that's how I
prove of we like and what phase of life we are in. We need to be really understanding of our own situation.
Yes, we are the poorest in this country. So for me, everybody's sick. Mental health, everybody needs a therapy, and even the therapy needs a
the
therapist.
lifestyle living. You have to be happy with what you have.
Don't even look like it. Just don't even closer. Go on your bed.